John Kirkman. I'm a music journalist and a broadcaster based in the UK. Welcome to the John Kirkman Files. What we do here is basically make you aware of albums that have not long come out or due to come out, or in fact have been out for a while and you may have missed. Today's examples are these two wonderful albums. See them there? Stackridge and Friendliness, again by Stackridge. Now Stackridge were a band from, I guess you could call it the West Country. They were signed to MCA Records and they had a really good live reputation. I remember going to see them at a venue called the Liverpool Stadium, and they came on stage and they did this song called Let There Be Lids, where they were playing dustbin lids on the stage. I kid you not. But they wrote some really lovely melodic songs and some really nice proggy type songs as well, with beautiful melodies and extended versions. Now, of course, everybody knows that Stackridge eventually, or two of the guys from Stackridge, eventually went on to be in the Corgis. This is right in the early days. This is the first album. It's just called Stackridge. Look at all those extra tracks on there. That's absolutely incredible. There's so many tracks on there that keep you entertained for hours on end. Now, that's just the first album. This is the second album called Friendliness. Now, there's so many extra tracks on this, they had to put it on 2 discs. Now, I'm assured that the rest of the Stackridge catalogue is going to be coming. So that means the Man in the Bowler Hat. It also means the Mr. Mick album, which I loved because I remember it coming out in its form on Rocket Records, and it wasn't really the way the band wanted it. They wanted it a certain way, and Rocket said, no, we want it this way. So they had to re-record bits of it. And they also recorded a track which was originally by the Beatles, written by Paul McCartney, actually, called Hold Me Tight. Hold me tight. Tell me I'm the only one. It was almost a hit single in early 1976. Wonderful, wonderful album. And it's a concept album, of course. If you look at the cover, you know it is. It's a guy in an old people's home and it's his memories of his life. But Alan Freeman's also on that album, acting as the DJ. And on the official album, it is goes straight into Hold Me Tight. And it's a wonderful cover of the album, the song Hold Me Tight. And as I said, it was almost a hit single. What you get, I hope, I'm not saying guaranteeing this, but what I hope you get with that one will be the original Mr. Mick album and the version that Rocket Records put out at the time. There's also another great album before Mr. Mick called Extravaganza. But back to this one, Friendliness, the second album by Stackridge. Now, how can you not like a band whose lead singer was called Mutter, Slater, and the bass player was called Crun Walter. I mean, they had some wonderful names, but they really are a wonderful band. And this album is a really nice album as well. John Peel and Bob Harris loved Stackridge, and they used to play them a lot on their radio shows. And there's some Radio 1 sessions included in both albums, including Let There Be Lids, believe it or not. How they managed to do that in the BBC recording studios is beyond me, but there you go. They're one of the great, if you like, lost bands of the 70s, and it's a shame because they really were a great band. And of course, they went on to, two of them went on, Andy Davis and James Warren went on to become the Corgis. And then they reformed Stackridge. That's no longer going, but the Corgis are. But this series of albums that are coming out, I'm really looking forward to the next batch. They were a wonderful band. If you ever saw them live, you will have very, very good memories of them. You go to the gig with your rhubarb, you wave your rhubarb sticks in the air, and then you get really into the songs. They were great, very idiosyncratic. So this series of albums coming out is going to be high on my list of priorities. They are a bit of, as I said, an idiosyncratic band, but the melodies and the songs they wrote were all really, really good. And essentially, what James Warren and Andy Davis did with the Corgis, it was just kind of like a follow-on from Stackridge, maybe a little more commercial, hence they had a lot more success. But after the Corgis, then Andy Davis went to play keyboards for Tears for Fears, another band from the West Country, believe it or not. But the Corgis reformed and Stackridge reformed. Stackridge sadly bit the dust eventually. Mutter Slater still goes out with the Mutter Slater band, and the Corgis are still a going concern. But Stackridge are one of my favourite bands, and I have some wonderful memories of waving my rhubarb in the air. It's quite legal, you know, but they are a fabulous band. They were great fun to go and see live. Now, they're both available, these first two, and the rest will be available through Cherry Red Records. That's cherryred.co.uk. Put into the search engine Stackridge, all one word, and lo and behold, these two albums will come out. Now, I would advise you to get all of the Stackridge albums. There's about 5, I think 6 maybe, 5 or 6 in the actual series that Cherry Red will be bringing out. And I think they really are worth buying, because there's some great music on them. As I said, John Peel and Bob Harris love Stackridge, but sadly they didn't get all they should have done. They even had an album produced, believe it or not, by George Martin, who also loved the band. And I think he saw some of the Beatles sort of melodies and things like that in the band. So there it is, Stackridge, the first album, which is there. Wonderful album. For a debut album, it's a great album. And there's Friendliness. Now, they've all got extra tracks on, which is absolutely brilliant, because they've got BBC sessions for both Bob Harris and for John Peel. And there's lots of other extras on there as well. Beautiful booklet with lots of information on it. They're in the shops now as well, if you can find a shop. But you should order them directly from Cherry Red. cherryred.co.uk. They are very, very fast with their fulfillment, and they will fulfill the orders to anywhere in the world. So if you're in Australia, maybe you're a Brit who's gone out to live there and you're watching this in Australia, you can order them from cherryred.co.uk. Or if you've been curious for many years about this band, if you live in America or Europe, then again, cherryred.co.uk. Put Stackridge into the search engine and those two albums will turn up. And I promise you, they are well worth listening. Some beautiful melodies on these songs that they have on these albums, and there's some really interesting extras as bonus tracks. So there is Stackridge and Friendliness, available now in your local online retailer or a high street retailer if you can find one. Thanks for watching.